Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide, he is the Terran player. In blue, it is BYUN. And in the bottom left, in the red, spawning as the Protoss pieces, it is Nice. Alright, just my mic here. Been having some issues. I think I need to fix my mic. My mic stand, I should say, because for some reason it feels like we don't, or like it keeps moving. And so it's like be talking and then all of a sudden it just kind of moves around, you know. So starting off, we do have BYUN going into a double racks. Gonna get a little bit cheeky with those proxy raxes. And what is Nice doing? I mean, so far he's just going to be going into the gateway. He is sending across the probe. And he is scouting around, right? He obviously feels like there is a possibility of some kind of proxy. But now just going to go straight across the map and will not actually see this. So this could be very dangerous if Nice doesn't handle this properly. Semix core going to be coming down as indeed Nice does come into the main base. Going to see that there is no proxy, or that there is a proxy, excuse me. And the pylon going to be going down to try to block some of this and having a way out, as well as just making sure that there's no factory play or anything like that coming through that early. A lot of Terran players like to actually kind of sit and put their, factories and stuff like that to make a wall for the counterattack, but already Zealot is out. The second Zealot on the way here for Nice. Only a couple of Marines, as it does look like now. BYUN going to spread the bunker, or excuse me, spread the racks. Just to make it a little bit tougher and make sure that his units cannot get surrounded. Does get the first Zealot. The second Zealot is now out. The probe's trying to take care of the bunker, and this is a big thing. These Marines, even though they can do a lot of damage without stim, it does make it a little bit tough. Now, the Marines are going to be able to kite this Zealot pretty much all day, but now with the Stalker out, it makes it a little bit tougher. These Marines are already pretty low, and these probes going to work, trying to get on top of this. Now, the SCV is trying to get on top of the Stalker, but for the most part, doing okay. Nice. It's going to have a second Stalker on the way. The shield battery finally finishing up, and this is going to be able to push this back, as BYUN will have to regroup his forces here, and yeah, not too bad. Factory is going to be coming down on the other side here for BYUN, as he is going to make a bunker for any kind of counterplay potential, which is exactly what Nice wants to do. He's got the warp gate tech researching, and essentially whenever he does get done with this, because he has a pylon across the map, he's going to be able to warp in a few units there. Now, he's only got one gateway, so he's only going to be able to make like maybe a Stalker or a Zealot if he wants to go across, but it does give him some potential, right? It gives him the ability to put on that counter pressure. Barrack's going to go into the natural of Nice while BYUN sends his other one home. And yeah, I like this. The Stalker just going to keep the Marines pushed back. Behind this, we do have that Stargate tech. Overall, not going to be too bad. Now, the Marines are going to come back home, going to get into the bunker eventually. But the biggest key thing is, yes, getting that pylon, shutting down that counterattack potential, and allowing himself to take a natural to get Widow Mines, to get whatever he really wants. Now, he's going to be losing that barracks, which does kind of suck, right? He wants to have, more production, but getting the scout, being able to see, okay, he's going into the Stargate, this is what I need to expect. And even with the Widow Mines already being prepared in that way, this is very, very nice. So, Guerrilla Council on the way for Nice. And the new barracks going to be pushed down. Reactor is being made, and we have this kind of awkward little space now in the main, where I do think he will eventually just put a depot here. I don't see him just trying to raise us up, moving it over. So, really good stuff. Raven on the way for the Terran, while the Oracle is now flying across. Just going to get a Revelate onto the army. Holy cow, 6 probes do end up dying to that Widow Mine. 4 there, and I believe he had another one down here. But really nice play coming out from BYUN. And it's just been constant pressure coming out here from BYUN, like with the Widow Mine drops, with the Marines. And Nice, not really able to play the game he wants to play, right? He's not... He's keeping even with the probes, and he is sort of kind of building up into his gateway count. He's really, you know, doing what he needs to, but it feels like BYUN has just kind of kept this pressure. So we'll see what Nice can actually do against us. Does a good job of actually picking up the mine and able to get it, having to use the Revelate at the end. And that's kind of annoying, right? You want to save up that energy to be able to use it later on. You know, maybe get a couple SCVs with the tractor beam, or, you know, potentially just use the Revelates later. Having to use it for just a single mine isn't the ideal situation, but it does at least keep him safe and not lose any more drone or probes. So Revelate goes off once again onto the Marines, which will allow him to actually kind of see what is going on, make sure he can keep tabs on where these Marines are going to be at, sees the tanks, see essentially the setup here. And Nice now kind of on the offensive, right? He's going to go into Storm. He's getting those additional gateways, adding on the High Templar to start building up energy. Because again, you want those storms, you want everything that you can get. Nice, even going to throw a pylon up to the left. And I like this a little bit from BYUN. He's got the Cyclone, so going to be able to push away the Oracle. There's only one Phoenix, so not going to see him do too much with that. Just kind of keeping tabs, and essentially, if there was like a Viking or something coming through, he's going to be more than okay with that. So another Revelate going to go down. Again, just a lot of keeping tabs on stuff. Picks up the Cyclone, interrupting the lock-on, which is actually a really smart use of that. And it does look like Nice wants to take a third base. He's thrown down an additional gateway across the map, with 4 more gates on the way. Stim just not done for the Terran, as it looks like he's ready to push across the map. He's got the Raven, he's got Marines and Marauders. The Cyclone gonna be able to get on top of the... Oh! Gets the Oracle. And that does kind of suck. He's not going to be able to keep tabs on this army. We do already see BYUN across the map going towards this third base location, even though Nice is going to be taking the other one. So now Nice has an idea where this army is, sees that he is getting ready for an attack, and we should start seeing more units coming through. Already some Zealots being warped in. He's even got that pylon right there. Here we go. Storm is done. Gonna get on top of the Marines. Actually just getting some big damage there. There's 3 medevacs. We'll be able to kind of heal this up eventually. The tank's gonna go onto the high ground. Gonna be able to shoot over here towards the gateways if he wants to. Another Storm does go down. Doesn't make the biggest connections, but is at least kind of keeping BYUN back for the time being. These units are getting very low. Charge is done as the Zealots do work their way up. Oh, the Widow Mine shot. Gonna take out one of the medevacs. Does end up getting the Zealots taken care of, but with the tank down and with the storms still coming through, BYUN in a little bit of trouble here. Or not really even trouble, just gonna get cleaned up. And now with the the Archons coming through, more storms going to be available with the High Templar. He does have Blink now being researched, which will allow him to kind of jump on those tanks a little bit better. But it is going to be a mind switch coming out here from BYUN, really going back and forth between those. And yeah, man, I like this. More barracks on the way, as it looks like BYUN not done with this pressure yet. Void Rays are on the way for Nice. And what does Nice really have at the moment? Like, he's got a couple of Archons and some Storms and a couple of Zealots. That's really about it. Storm's going to push this back for the moment. Same time as Zealot going to go towards that third base location, try to keep that down as much as possible. And BYUN just has to be careful. He knows Storm's on the field, so it's going to allow him to be a little bit more cautious This is a lot of storms right here. Zealot's going to be running down towards the bottom. I kind of was wishing they would go over here, but it looks like he's just going to try to stop this and kind of force a crunch here. And I think that is definitely a possibility. So, unfortunately, the Zealot's not going to get anything done here as they do walk around and essentially just kind of get killed off here. So, it does look like Nice is trying to set up a wraparound and just doesn't have enough stuff to be able to do it properly. But the good thing is these medevacs are about out of energy. The units here for BYUN are getting pretty low. And it looks like now Nice ready for a counterattack of his own. He does have to be careful of the mines, but for the most part, I think he should be okay. Ghost now out. Oh, this could be huge. Oh, beautiful storms, though. Shutting down the Ghost as much as possible. And yeah, these Zealots just keeping everything back. Storms, chunky. And killing those off. Jeez. The 8 SCVs have fallen. More Zealots going to be warped in towards the natural as we see those Archons slowly starting to push up the ramp. The Void Ray going to keep tabs on this as well. The Zealots going to have to be a little bit more tanky if they want to get on top of this, but 14 SCVs do fall, forcing that third base back, and Nice is saying, okay, I can go ahead and back up. Don't want to overextend. And I will just make sure that I have what I need. Maybe take a fourth base behind this, get some additional, gateways or something. He is going to go into a forge. So, going to start those +1 upgrades. That is a big thing, though, right now. BYUN is at 1-1. So, we'll see if that makes a difference. He's going to be behind in upgrades for the moment. But the thing, too, is, like, right now, BYUN is just making army. He's not really focused on doing +2. As well as he doesn't even have an armory at the moment, so there is that possibility. As well as the possibility with just getting cannons. Having some of that extra defense, especially against a player like BYUN who can do those drops and do those kind of funky little things. So, Ghost and Mines are out as the Zealots. You start pushing in. High Templar are in the War Prism. Storm's going to go down. Some okay splits coming out. Mine shots going everywhere. The War Prism does end up falling in. The army here of BYUN starting to thin out a little bit, but to be honest, Nice just doesn't have enough. GG's going to be called, and it looks like BYUN spawning down here in the bottom left. Give it up for the red Protoss. He is Nice. And the top right, in the blue, the Terran player known as BYUN. Thank you, by the way, Captain Club, for the raid. I appreciate it, man. Alrighty, so game number 2 already starting off a little bit differently. We have the barracks being built into the main base instead of across the map in a proxy location. And the thing too is, like, BYUN is one of those players that is kind of unpredictable in that you don't know which map or like what time he's going to do that. But at the same time, he is a player that he can play standard, he can play cheeky. He just makes it very utilized. But you do know that he is going to do some kind of proxy at some point, right? I figure people would want something other than 7 to 17. Hey, man. It happens. I had that the other day. I was on a win streak of like 8 and then ended up losing a whole bunch. All the MMR I gained for that day ended up going into the toilet. So eBay block going to be coming out. We'll delay the expansion for a little bit, and that's actually kind of nice. You know, being able to deny any of that extra minerals from your opponent, kind of forcing them in an awkward position. You know, when these players get in and they want to do these builds, they have kind of a set like, okay, I need to get it by this time. Need to get it in and do whatever I can to get it going. It's in the Zerg third base win. Yeah, Roach all-in's kind of been a big thing for Zerg lately. Especially, I think, after the whole GSL stuff. Alright, so Factory coming through. We do have Warp Gate Tech being researched. Going to be an Adept this time. I would like to see him go more into the Stargate play, but one of the big thing about Stargate is early on, it's not necessarily weak. Like, obviously, there's those, you know, Void Ray pushes, which it looks like he might do something like this. Yeah, even gets spotted by BYUN. But it's one of those things where early on, if they build it at home, if you see it coming quicker, it feels so weak. You don't have a lot of units, right? You sacrifice your units for that higher tech, and it is still going to be that Stargate play with the shield battery. So Void Ray is going to be a thing. Starport's on the way. So we do have Widow Mines. And, oh no, he's actually going to cancel them. He knows that it's a Stargate play. Instantly going to be going into Marines. He's going to have eventually a Cyclone on the way. He does have that Starport finishing up, and we should start seeing some Vikings. As now, you know, nice in an interesting position. The Hellions here for BYUN will come across as the first base does end up finishing up here. And he will be able to pick off a couple of probes. But with the Adepts, going to push this away. And yeah, I mean, a beautiful job here from a Nice, just kind of making sure he closes this out and no more damage to be done. So 2 probes do go down. There's going to be a Phoenix opening, which is actually really interesting. I guess maybe because he knows that there is that possibility of the Viking, as well as because it's been spotted. Obviously, Cyclones are an answer to it. So maybe he just wants to pick it up for the lock-on cancel. Thought a game I was leading by a mile, 3 base Thomas player. Yeah, DT's suck. It's one of those things you can scout, but you miss that one piece of tech, and it's just you end up killing yourself. So I'm actually kind of interested in this, right? So obviously, he's already seen that it is going to be a Stargate play. This is kind of a big brain play almost. Like, still make the units that you can, and then just, you know, force him to get over defensive. Yeah. The Depth's going to be working their way into the natural. We'll pick off a couple of more SCVs. There we go. 4 SCVs do end up falling. You do see the nicest Stargate ended up, you know, down, and it's one of those things where Nice was wanting to go for the, you know, the Void Ray shield battery push, but obviously because it did get scouted so early, being very, I guess, utilized and switching things up, saying, okay, we can just go ahead and make a couple of Phoenixes for those Cyclones. Let me just kind of change my tech here, and thankfully Protoss can really do that. Immortal is now out, which will help out with the Cyclones and the Marines, but he has to be careful. The shield battery already out of energy. The Cyclone's getting a pretty handy lock on. Overcharge is going to be activated, as, you know, unfortunately Nice just can't even get close enough to really attack here. Fortunately, Immortals and slow Zealots Adepts are just not that fast. Maybe with the Shades they could keep up, but you don't want to just throw away your units, especially when you're in this position where your whole, you know, opening play is completely ruined by being spotted. Robotics Bay on the way, so we will eventually see Colossus. Eventually we get into the Disruptor play if this continues on, but we'll see, as BYUN wants to keep up the pressure. He's got Stim, he's got +1 on the way. And now a Raven. Finally, the third base going to be on the way as well. And it looks like BYUN going to start pushing in here. The Immortal going to fall. A second Immortal will join in, but I think it might be a little bit too late. 6 SCVs have ended up falling, but there's just nothing at home right now here for Nice. Going to have to pull the probes, trying to get on top of the Marines to shut this down. The Immortal does end up falling. GG's.